I'm live. I'm on right now.
Yeah.
I don't believe you. Oh, January 2nd, the Big Brown Breakdown is officially back. This one we're doing a little earlier. I just feel like there's so much to talk about. You know, I did the fight recap with Rogan, Joey Diaz, and Eddie Bravo yesterday. That's available right now on All Things JRE if you guys want to dig that. This one, I dive in a little deeper. It's my show, and I just kind of get balls deep in fighting in that world. So hopefully you guys dig it. Everything is good. Hopefully the holidays went good for you guys. I'm not a holiday guy. I never have been. A little more with my son, even though he's 10 months. He just destroyed the wrapping paper and kind of moved on from there. But he's 10 months. So vacation in Napa. I'm sure we'll get into it tomorrow when Callan's back in town. I see the comments where, what, did Callan die? Did you fire Callan? Why isn't he on the Fight Companions? Are you guys not friends with Brian? Hey, man. Brian is our damn good friend. He's actually my best friend. He's in Bora Bora. His rich father flew him and everyone related to them to Bora Bora. So he gets back tomorrow. I think he lands at 11 or noon. So we'll be doing the first Fight in the Kid of 2017 tomorrow with Brian Callan. There's nothing wrong. Everything is good. The dude's been on vacation. This Big Brown Breakdown show is my own thing. Brian has his own show, the Brian Callan Show. For me, it's just a way to dive into my expertise when it comes to fighting, and it's just my own lane. It's my own thing. If Brian wanted to do a show on politics and I was on every show, he would constantly have to stop and restart because he would try and get deep into things, and I'd go, wait, what's an electoral vote? I'm like, God damn, we're so beyond that. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, you should know what an electoral vote is. Well, if you're listening to this podcast, you should probably know what a jab is, what a double leg is, what a single leg is, what omoplata is, what the UFC is, what Bellator represents, what's World Series of Fighting, why did Ronda lose? Why was she so dominant? There's certain things I assume you guys know. And if you have someone who's not of that expertise, granted it's funny and we can still do, and we do still cover on the Fire and the Kid, but this allows me to get a little more deeper and cover more ground. And that's why we started. And the response from you guys have been, I can't thank you guys enough. It's truly remarkable. I can't think of many people. I mean, they're out there, don't get me wrong, but that went, man, I want to do an all MMA show. And that same week, you get it done. Our logo should be finalized this week. Chin's making the theme song. That should be done this week. And within, a week, you're up and rolling. And you guys listen to it. And we get more views and downloads than any MMA show on TV. Not even
Super
close.
Amazing.
So because of you guys, you give me life. So I love you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the holidays. Can we get back to work, though, for God's sakes? Why is there such a long layoff? Why? How many days do people need off?
Even
like today, it's dead.
Yeah, the parking lot's empty.
Why in the world do people have Monday off? You just had all last week. New Year's was Saturday night.
I forgot even. It's got
Sunday you had off, so your recovery day. Why do you get Monday off? I mean, and I assume if you're working 9 to 5, it probably makes sense. And, it's the same thing when you're in school. Those winter breaks, they couldn't get long enough for me. Mm-hmm. So I get it. If you're grinding, you need the rest. I suck at it. I'm trying to get better. Napa was cool. I was in Napa Valley for a little vacation. Shout out to everyone who's so pleasant to me up there and respectful. And, it was great, man. It's slower up there. Napa Valley's wine tasting. I'm not a wine connoisseur, and it's cool. I love it up there. I'll be back, but I don't know.
Did you drink any wine at all, or no?
Yeah, I went on a wine tour, and I'm sure we'll get into it with Callan tomorrow because he's balls deep in wine. But it all tastes the same to me.
Yeah,
I was trying to get the business side of things with the guy, and he really didn't know what's going on. So I tried bringing it into my world. We've done a bunch of shows. Last night with Rogan was fun. Rogan was sick. That podcast room smelled like a wild zoo.
I was going to ask you about that.
Bro, he farted and And usually, you know, I'm a grown ass man. I can keep my cool, but I was like, hey man, am I the only one going fucking crazy here? It smells like a camel covered in hummus, just fucking dirty Hitlered my mustache. I was like, what is going on here? It was so bad. It was so bad. I've never smelled anything like it. Dude's been sick. You might have malaria or some shit. That was another level sickness.
I thought you were saying it was Joey Diaz, but it was
He farted too. But Joe's was so intense, it just fucked the whole vibe up. Notice I shut down after that. I felt sick to my stomach. I was like, well, now I feel sick. I'm back in my diet. I never got the whole 2017 like new year, new me. No, it's not. No, I guess it gives you a point of reference to start to encourage you to do better and gives you the right frame of mind. But I never got it. Someone today, I was at the gym this morning. They go, "Oh, what's your goals for 2016 or 2017?" I just bust my ass. I work my ass off. Good things tend to happen when you do that. Whether it was 2013, 2017, 2021, it's just you work your ass off. I don't set long-term goals. I have goals for that day, stuff like that. I have goals that you can't really put a time frame on. And when it comes to, you know, my stand-up, when it comes to the live Big Brown shows, when it comes to Firing the Kid, when it comes to these TV shows I'm waiting to hear on, there's certain things where you can't put time limits on it. So you just work your ass off, hope for the best. And whether it happens in 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, you have a goal, but it's always weird when you put time limits on things. I'm also 33. So what's your goal? I mean, fuck, just keep working your ass off. Work your ass off. Hopefully in 2017, you know, those people who write those mean-spirited comments, you know, Joey Diaz was talking a little bit about it on the Fight Companion last night. Those people who write those mean comments, you know, in 2017, if you're that person that writes that negativity, again, I've never had anyone who's doing better than me write a negative comment. Never in my life has that ever happened. So if you're that person and it's January 2nd, you're 2 days deep in 2017, and you wrote that negative comment, you need to look in the mirror right now, put your phone down, put your headphones down, you listen to this podcast, look in the mirror and just go, still a loser. Look in the mirror and just be like, God damn it. It's a new year. It's not a new me. I'm still the loser commenting on whoever's Instagram, Twitter, social media. It's a bummer, man, but you can't let that get to you. Shout out to my main man from Hangover Candles. I think he's from Fort Collins. Homeboy sent me, if you guys recall in the Fire and the Kid, I talked about my favorite smell in the world that brings me so many great memories is fresh cut grass. And so he sent me from Hangover Candles, fresh cut grass candles. And that shit is so fresh. So shout out to that dude. Thank you, man. I do keep up with you guys on Twitter. I love what you're doing. I love that it's a passion of yours and you listen to podcasts and make candles and get crazy with them. Although it says brewed and bottled in Salt Lake City. So for sure change that to Fort Collins, Colorado. But yeah, fresh cut grass, you know, there's certain scents and stuff like that for whatever reason, smells can take you back to the memories. You know, when if I drive by a football field now, especially if it's in the fall and there's fresh cut grass, I mean, it takes me back to memories. I mean, literally since I was a kid, and only certain smells do that to me. Other things really don't do that. You know, our brains are supposed to process off negative thoughts, just the way we stay alive. Like you remember negative memories better than your happier memories, just the way we're wired. But for whatever reason, smells don't do that. Smells, when I smell fresh cut grass, God, I could give you a million stories about that shit. You know, I grew up fresh cut grass, although I was allergic to it. How weird is that? I'd fall in the grass, I'd get bumps everywhere. Bumps everywhere. Let's just dive into it, man. I mean, UFC 207, there's so much to talk about. I think we do our events that you have, Chin. Then for the breakdown, I think we break down the 3 fights on the card that happen. I'll break down my thoughts on that. Then we do fan questions.
Cool.
And that's the memo. As you guys are listening to this, Firing the Kid this month, all these shows are almost sold out. One of them's already completely sold out. There's one damn near being sold out, but The Fighter and the Kid is live. If you want to see Brian Callen and myself live in action, it's the best comedy duo show on planet Earth. Ask any of your friends who have been. We will be in Vancouver on the 18th. The 19th is sold out. Then we will be in Seattle on the 20th. Then we're in Portland the 21st. What is up? Go get your tickets right now. All those are almost sold out, so get them right now. Not a better way to kick off your new year. All right, man, let's jump on in. Dive on in.
The first one is, remember last week, I think it was last week, we were talking about Tony Ferguson and Khabib Nurmagomedov, how Tony said he wanted the fight, but it was a money issue. He wanted to make the same amount of money as Khabib.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today, literally 5 minutes ago, I think, Khabib was on, or he posted this on his Twitter, I believe, saying that he would give Tony Ferguson $200,000 of his own money to fight him.
God damn, that boy wants to fight. Yeah. Listen, for Khabib, he's making all the right moves. The guy can't get a fight. No one wants to fight this guy. Tony, from a business aspect, it's very smart. He's saying, listen, who knows what's going to happen in this fight? I should be paid accordingly. Now, Dana White goes, no, you signed a contract. I honor that contract. You need to honor that contract. Yeah. The issue is with that is the UFC doesn't honor that contract because the UFC can cut you at any given moment. Meaning, if you sign a 6-fight deal, they cut you 1 fight in, 2 fight in. So just from a business aspect, I totally get what Tony Ferguson's trying to do here. It makes sense. I don't know if this is the answer to his problems because now you have Khabib putting up an extra $200K, which is a shitload of money, more money than Tony's ever made for one fight, just that extra $200. But let's say Tony beats him.
Yeah,
Tony's still on that same contract. Because Dana White can say, you signed a 6-fight deal, you still have to honor it, whether you beat Khabib or not. Khabib can give you $200,000 of his money. I don't give a shit. You're still under this contract. So it's like Dayquil. Dayquil doesn't cure anything if you're sick. It'll mask it, but then once that Dayquil wears off, you're still sick.
Yeah.
So this is just covering up what the problem is. It's a temporary solution for Tony. Khabib just needs a fight. He really does, man, and my heart's out to him because he deserves it. The fight is Tony and Khabib. That's the fight.
Yeah.
Conor's not fighting anytime soon. Khabib, Tony Ferguson, number one, that is the fight. Because you can't have Aldo versus Khabib, even though that's what they want to do, and that's what Dana said. Because what happens to Max Holloway at 45? His earned term, so then you hold up 2 divisions, and then let's say Aldo gets starched by Khabib, which I think would happen. Let's say Khabib just mauls the shit out of him like one of those fucking grizzly bears in Russia that he fucks with.
Yeah.
Let's say he does that, and then now Max Holloway fights a degraded, worn out Jose Aldo who just got his ass whooped. Who's going to tune into that? So again, it's a ripple effect. If you make that fight, what happens to Max Holloway who's on a 9-fight winning streak? What happens to Tony Ferguson who's on a 9-fight winning streak?
Yeah,
what happens to these guys who they've earned their keep? But we're not in that day and age of the UFC. This is the day and age of entertainment. What's going to sell? What's going to get the most eyeballs? Hence why they sign a guy like CM Punk, and I have no inside sources on this, but I do think CM Punk will fight in the UFC again because he is a draw.
Yeah.
It's not the day and age of the best matchup possible, the best this, the best that. It's what sells. How marketable are you?
Jumping around too.
Yep.
It seems like, and I think Cody just said something like he's trying to get that fight with Aldo too.
Garbrandt?
Yeah, Garbrandt.
Jesus Christ! I just talked to Cody last night. We'll get into that.
Cool. All good with this one?
Yes, sir. I like it, Khabib. Though I mean, God, dog, he wants a fight,
dude. $200
grand. What contract is he on?
Exactly.
What kind of contract is that dude on?
Oh, yeah, that's a good.
He's
point.
so sure he's gonna win. Wait, I'll pay you extra $200K on your purse. Does that mean he gets $200K no matter what, or is it only if he wins? Is that $200K of his win bonus? Because when Mark Hunt and I were going to fight, and we had a contract to fight, that's a different story for another time. We were contracted to fight. Joe Silva told me that was the fight. So I tell Marquand, winner takes all. No win bonus. No, it's winner takes all. And he goes, I agree. Let's do it. And I was like, yes, it's going to be sick. Such high stakes. And then Dana was like, that's not the way the UFC works, man. You guys can't do that. We're not going to do that fight. I'm like, well, but we have a contract. He goes, I don't care. And then I got Travis Brown after that. We can get into conspiracy theories later, but you guys can figure it out. What else you got?
All right. Mike Goldberg. The rumors are true.
The rumors are true.
True. He's gone from
hey, Goldberg, step in my office. You're fucking fired.
Yeah, what a...
What's this story saying?
Well, this one's just saying that the rumors are true, but as the story unfolds, there's more to this.
Like what?
Why isn't that he didn't get a send-off, like a proper send-off? Like the UFC did nothing. There's like no announcement. He was just there. He didn't say anything, and it was just over. And that was his last one, 207.
And even Rogan didn't acknowledge him, right?
Yeah. So
like they've been partners in crime.
Oh, there's a little thing I wanted to show you too. I don't know if you want to get into this.
No, bring it.
There was a video that surfaced with you and Rogan and Eddie Bravo.
Let me see.
Do you remember this?
Let me see it.
About Eddie Bravo.
Eddie Bravo accidentally leaked information on Goldberg. Let me see it.
This is before all this too.
Who's taking Mike Goldberg's spot?
Mike Goldberg's not part of the MMA association.
Oh, I know.
There's rumors he was. He's not. That'd be kind of conflict of interest. Yeah. But the thing is
thinking about Bill Goldberg?
Yeah.
The dude from
Bill Goldberg. It switched real fast.
Yes. No Whoopi Goldberg.
That's why you shouldn't smoke weed and tell your friends important information.
Oh, he's a show called The Goldbergs? He's a giant.
So basically, after this, it just went off into somewhere else. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Joe Rogan's one of my best friends, and obviously him and Eddie are the best friends. So we tell each other stuff that shouldn't be out. Like, there's certain things I know now that the public doesn't know, but that I think it was just a slip up of Eddie. How about my recovery?
Yeah, you did good.
Decent. People are too smart, man.
But I mean, no one said anything. It was just a funny little slip of Eddie just saying, who's going to be this? And then it just changed.
That's reverse. That's hilarious. What can you do? But yeah, that's why those fight campaigns are hilarious. Although we did talk about MMA finally last night for a little bit. We had to, I think. And Joey Diaz did a great job staying on topic, and Eddie didn't go crazy on conspiracy theories, although I do enjoy that. But I can see from the fans' reactions they like that we stuck with UFC talk. Listen, with Goldberg, I love Mike Goldberg. I think him and Joe make a great team. I think it's more colorful with a guy like Mike. I don't think Mike would have made it as far without Rogan. It's peanut butter and jelly. This entertainment world and commentating, analyst job and podcasting and any form of entertainment, any show you see, this is what I'm learning from these TV shows I've shot. It's all about chemistry. It's all about does the panel or the duo, the threesome, can they all kind of feel each other, they actually care about each other, and they get along, they speak the same language. That's why Brian and I work so well together. That's why Joe Rogan, Goldberg work so well together. You see these duos that time after time, they speak the same language. They might not agree on everything, but they speak the same language as far as humor, personality traits. They have things in common where they vibe when they're together. It's called chemistry. That's the reason why so many other podcasts fail, even though they try to put a fighter and a comedian together. You guys don't get it. That's not the formula. You're missing the form. It does not matter what my occupation is, what Brian's is. That's not why this works. Yeah. It works because we're best friends. We speak the same language, just chemistry. So, again, this goes back to WME, treating this very black and white, very business-like. When you mess with the formula, something that's working, Mike Goldberg has his demons. I'm not going to talk about that. But as far as he's never missed a gig, he's never messed up. The only as far as mess up, you guys know what I'm talking about. He's had some hiccups, but he's never like completely bombed on air. He had a bit of a flunder when he did the NFL commentating, but I wasn't ready for that. It's probably not his lane either. So that's on Fox for putting him up there. But again, WME making all these changes and making it very black and white. That's not the way entertainment works. And this is that when they broadcast, they're speaking to the general fan, not you and me, Chin. They're speaking to people who, the common fan who buys pay-per-views. The hard-nosed, balls-deep fan, there might be 200,000 of us. And that's who buys those. That's who would buy this next Brooklyn pay-per-view. You're a hardcore fan who they're just so into it. Now, when you get those million-plus pay-per-view buys, Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan are the voices to those people. They have one of the most important jobs in the world. There's a reason, and I love Brian Stan, I love John Anik, I love Kenny Florian, Dominic Cruz, DC, but they're very monotone, and they're doing a straight job. When you're not as comfortable as doing the gig, your personality doesn't show, or they don't have the personality to show. So to me and Joe and I, we didn't get in an argument about it, but he's like, you're crazy. I told him, I said, you're just as important to the UFC as Conor McGregor is. You are the window to everyone's ear who tunes into the UFC. You cannot tell me, there's no way you guys listening right now can tell me that a UFC on Fox that Rogan doesn't do, a fight night that Rogan doesn't do, a pay-per-view on whatever that Rogan doesn't do, a Fight Pass card that Rogan doesn't do is just as entertaining when Rogan speaks. And you're biased, he's your boy. Take that out of it. Be dead honest. It's just not true. It's just not true.
Yeah.
It's not true. Have fucking David Spade do the voiceover on Shawshank Redemption. It's going to fuck things up. Certain people are good at certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird example. I went weird there. You know what I'm saying? Morgan Freeman's the guy for the job. Mike Goldberg, hopefully has something lined up. Shit, he might be at Bellator.
Yeah, you never know. Right?
Have we heard? It's very weird, and it's very, to me, it's very dark not to give a guy, how long has he been in the UFC?
Forever.
10 years?
Was it he right after Black Nick, I think? Or was he with Black Nick? Remember?
Probably 10 years?
Way more than me, I think.
So let's say he's been in the UFC since, well, longer than that. Let's say 12 years. 12 or 15, I'm sure.
Long time for sure.
Long time. To not give that guy any sort of send-off, or to not at least mention it, or at least give him, hey, we just want to thank Mike Goldberg for all the years. What he's done has been great. He's been huge in making the sport blow up. Does it say how long he's been there?
Since 97.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 97, geez.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years, and not one mention of it. Not one single mention of it. That's just the way they do business. And I'm a far cry from Mike Goldberg, what I did for the UFC, and especially what I do now for the UFC. But when I retired, I got an email. It's very heartless. I don't think it's the way to do business. I think you pay tribute to a guy like Mike Goldberg. I think they should have probably took 2 minutes after Ronda's fight and just said, hey, man, we want to wish you luck. Everything you're doing, where the company's at today could not have happened without you. You're one of the faces and voices of the sport. Just want to thank you, man. Good luck with everything. Boom. Done. Acknowledge the guy. Yeah, that stuff comes to bite you back in the ass, because the UFC is driven and was created and got popular off athlete to fan interaction. And because we came from this grassroots and the forums and social media and everything rose this sport from the underground to what it is now. Well, when you forget about that stuff and you start making business decisions, well, all those diehard fans I'm talking about who knows where the sport came from, they start to tune out. They're going to move on to something else. And then you're spanking on the hardcore fan. Well, those hardcore fans only buy maybe 1 or 2 to 3 pay-per-views a year. You're fucking with fire, man. Don't fuck up what got you to the dance. Don't practice the salsa for the past 2 months. Then you get to the dance, start doing the fucking moonwalk. You're not ready for the moonwalk. Do what got you to the dance. Keep it going with that salsa, for God's sakes. And Dana's been flirting at the perfect dream team And I know Chael leaked that Jim Rome news. I don't think that's true. I don't think that would be a dream team. I think you'd have 2 Siamese fish in a bowl.
Yeah.
You're going to have someone who gets along with Joe Rogan. Because that's all that matters. Take Joe out of the equation, watch how this goes. Now, he might take himself out of the equation one of these days, which I think is going to happen. But take Joe out of the equation or put a guy in there who butts heads with him, argues with him. Let me know how it goes for him. Enjoy that. So, I mean, again, I wish I could say I'm surprised. It's just the way the UFC does business now. It's just what they do.
Yeah.
There's guys who put way more years in the sport than me and got the same email I did. It's cutthroat, man. It's cutthroat. You don't become a world-class promoter by being the nicest guy in the world.
That's what makes this one really messed up. It's not the fact that they're replacing him. Business is business, but just not giving him a send-off.
Any acknowledgement.
Yeah, something.
It's very strange. But and what's that do to you guys? Like,
exactly.
Just be a good human being about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And what's this? What a joke! Mike Goldberg's son blasts you. Who said what a joke?
No, his son said that. Like, why would you do that? Or just let him go and not have a send off.
Okay,
so send off.
He said,
he says 13 years.
He said, my dad did so much for the UFC over the past 13 years, and they can't even give him a proper goodbye. What a joke, UFC.
Oh, he goes 20 years. There he goes.
20.
Yeah.
My bad. 20 years. What embarrassment. For sure, get that tweet right.
But I mean, that's cool that his son actually went out there and posted this too.
I mean, I expect nothing less. Yeah, I mean, you can see how they can be upset. I don't, what do you expect, man?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but now it'd be interesting to see if I don't think he will. Dana's, one of his best friends is Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell was representing World Series of Fighting this past weekend in New York.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Holy moly. It seems
the
like
same
the
thing
regime is starting to...
Think about Stitch Duran. Remember? And Dana was like, he's never been my friend. Jesus Christ, man. Relax. Okay. But the guy, you can pull your 600 fighters. I know you think you talk to them, but pull those guys. Probably 90% will say Stitch is the best cut man in the game. Yeah. Matter of fact, there's some Hall of Famers who won't fight unless Stitch is in their corner. And because Stitch made a comment about Reebok, you fired him. Who's that hurt? It hurts you because him not being able to work those fighters' corners, so those fighters get cuts, they don't feel comfortable. You're in the game of putting the best product out, which would be the fighter. So your ego gets in this way. He's never a fucking friend of me. Good God, brother. Just relax. Now, we haven't heard him really talk like that since he's been paid $400 jagillion, so maybe he's a little more cool. But you hear that. Even if you don't like the guy, fuck's sakes, man, chill out. With Mike Goldberg, Stitch, there's a ton of stuff. You can go down the line. But
is there a chance that Goldie left on his own, and that's why they're not giving him a tribute? No.
Not
and
from
then
my,
it just makes it
not
super
from my
weird.
sources. Not from my sources. It's a bummer. I don't know what you guys expected, though. What else you got, brother?
This one's a biggie.
There's a lot of news in there.
Yeah. Barnett popped for a potential USADA violation.
What? That's crazy.
His fourth, I think.
You're kidding me. Yeah, no shit. In other news, he's also white. It's just a guy, these old school guys, they're slowly becoming dinosaurs. Now, this is a day and age of guys like Stipe and Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw and Conor McGregor, where go ahead and test them a million times. They have no shady background. They're not into steroids or PEDs. They're just freaks, and hard work and talent gets them to where they got. So this day and age of the Bash brothers, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, all that stuff, Jose Canseco, in baseball, to relate to baseball, those days in the UFC are kind of done. You're not getting away with much unless you have some world-class designer doctor making PEDs for you. But, that's far and few in between. They're out there. But guys like Barnett, who think they can still get away with it, and I'm a huge fan of Barnett, but the game's just changed. It's just changed. He grew up in that world. I'm not mad at the guy. It is what it is. He's not the only one doing it, obviously.
He just got popped so many times, though. That's why it's so crazy.
It's just his thing, right? It's like, I think that's why that Cyborg talk. It's like, she's been busted before.
Yeah.
So when she gets busted now, it's like, God damn. Yeah. If you're willing to take that risk before, you're willing to do it again. It's not a one-time thing. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than a drug addict. You get that high. If you're an athlete, you inject those steroids, you get that strong, that big and fast. Without those, you will never be that big and strong and fast.
Yeah.
Physically impossible. So you know what you're capable of when you're taking those PEDs. When you're off of them, mentally, you're just like, holy fuck, man. I used to run the mile in 6 minutes. I do 7 now. I used to bench 315 pounds. I can only bench 280 now. And it adds up. It eats at you. It adds up. So these guys mentally just, they know what they're like when they're on the sauce, and they know what they're like when they're off of it, and they're willing to risk it. Again, it's someone who's willing to try Molly is the same person who they're probably down to smoke weed if it's around, who they're probably down to take that painkiller. It's just not like, it's not just, it's 0 to 100 with these people. If you're down to take that risk in PEDs early in your career, you're 100% down later in your career, because that's when you're going to need it most likely.
Like relapsing on drugs.
Yeah, if you're willing to bend the rules when you're 28, why won't you do it when you're 38? What do you think? You've changed? Because the new year, new me? Get the fuck out of here with that. You ever notice? I meant to talk about this earlier. And we'll go on a tangent. You ever notice that the people that post those motivational quotes are usually the people who aren't doing shit? It's usually the Instagram hot girl who it's, what? Show another ass pic. What are you talking about? If your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. Hey man, if you're just gonna post an ass shot, don't fuck up my quote by throwing that in there, huh? And I do see those, by the way. Most people I know who are killing the game, I put that in air quotes, don't put up those motivational quotes and shit. They'll put up some stuff that matters to them, but they're not gonna say something that we've seen a million times. It's always interesting to me. Like if I have a close friend who I follow on Instagram, he'll post something motivational. I'll reach out. I'm like, you all right, man? No, bro. Fucking dog died. Lost my job. Yeah, of course. How'd you know? Well, you posted that Albert Einstein quote, and I figured like you could use a hug. It's just the way it works usually. All right, what else you got? Sorry.
One quick one about this. So what if you're the UFC and this? They already knew when they took him in that he's a guy that's popped many times, and that was like one of the controversial things about it. What do you do with him now?
It's over.
Really? He's
too old. He's too old. I don't know how much fight he had left in him. If they give him a 3-year ban, it's really over. Maybe a year. He comes back for 1 or 2 more. But I've talked about it before. Runs. I'm going to talk about it when we get into the Ronda stuff about runs. But his time's came and gone. Heavyweights can last a little longer because power is the last thing to leave them. And Barnett's such a technical guy on the ground, and he is a monster. But this day and age of USADA, PEDs, and stuff like that, if you have to do that stuff to compete, it's probably over.
Does it look bad on the UFC too if they're like, okay, if he serves a suspension, granted, if he does really, if it's confirmed that he pops,
that's their forte. I mean, and I'd love to hear it, Chin. Give me a legit reason why not to take steroids. USADA makes it a little difficult, a little more challenging now, I should say, because if you do some real hardcore shit. Well, I shouldn't say that because Brock Lesnar did. Cyborg has. John Jones didn't do just a cakewalk drug either. But if you get 3 years, you're kind of fucked. That's a heavy suspension. But let's say you could only get a year suspension, which is what they're giving out right now. Give me one reason not to do steroids in the UFC.
Nope, no reason.
I'm bigger, faster, stronger. I'm going to knock you out. Tell Brock Lesnar why you shouldn't have done steroids when he fought Mark Hunt. Well, we're going to fine you $225,000 and suspend you a year. I only fight once a year. I made about $12 million. $225,000, I can take whatever I want. Okay, sign me up. Alistair Overeem tests hot. Hey, man, you get one fight and you're fighting for the title. Okay, that makes sense. It's weird.
No argument.
Very strange. It's part of the game, and it always will be. But like I said, with this younger generation who are grown up with USADA and realize the repercussions, not only repercussions, but really the damage can do to your career when you do that. And they're just genetic freaks, so it's slowly starting to phase out. But PEDs are part of every sport. It just is.
Yeah.
It's what happens, man. It's just everyone's looking for an advantage, the highest level, and the smallest advantage makes the world of difference. Yeah. So it's just you're going to always deal with that. I promise you guys, as long as you live, PEDs will be in every sport you've ever watched in your life. Just the way it is. What else you got, brother?
Speaking of PEDs, Mike Dolce, this is from Luke Thomas, who we both are fans of.
I love Luke.
He had his show like in September. I think he's on his Sirius channel, Luke Thomas's show, and he had Dolce on as a guest. And Dolce predicted that Cyborg would fail for this exact substance, the spironolactone or lactone.
Really?
Yeah, and I have the clip right here too.
All right, so what are the worst – let's talk worst-case scenarios. What are some of the consequences that, again, we are just speculating. We don't know this. But in your opinion, based on the available evidence and what you've witnessed, what are some of the worst case scenarios that she could be facing once her career in fighting is over as a consequence of these devastating weight cuts?
Well, let's talk about the most immediate. So her nutrition coach put her on a very powerful – birth control pill, which the chemical name is drospirenone, and that is a spironolactone analog. We all know spironolactone is a banned substance by WADA, by USADA, and he specifically said he was using and selected this specific drug, this chemical compound, for its diuretic effect, not for fertility, not for anything else. So this is doping. This is a very dirty gray area. So this individual, unqualified, uncertified, no medical background, no legal authority to do so, prescribed and administered a very, very powerful chemical compound to a young lady who did
Yikes, Ian, stop it there, brother.
Yeah.
How did he know this?
He knew that. Remember we were talking about how Lockhart put her on that birth control thing, whatever he was doing? He found out that birth control has this ingredient. So he was kind of using a loophole.
Oh wow!
So he's claiming that Lockhart was using the loophole in the system to give her a diuretic.
Mike's a smart guy.
Yeah.
When it comes to weight cutting, all that stuff.
Right here.
Yeah, no, Mike's a very knowledgeable guy. So obviously, you see who he works with. I don't. Did Mike ever work with her?
That's the thing.
I don't think so, right? Because everyone's like, "Oh, just have Chris Cyborg meet up with Dolce so she make 135."
Maybe he just heard it through the headlines that he was using birth control.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what's going on there, but it's crazy to call it. And I wonder what's going on behind the scenes there with him and Lockhart. And I don't think it's maybe people are, and I have no idea. Maybe people are throwing shade at Mike Dolce, but in a game of weight cutting, and if you are doing it the right and correct way, like Mike Dolce's known for, and you have a guy come in, he's using a loophole that does violate USADA standards, it'd be in good business practice to kind of call that out.
Yeah.
You know? So, God, Cyborg's fucked, man. She really is. Because the one knock on her was, she's done steroids before, she's failed before. Yeah, but she's passed so many tests. And then it starts adding up. Wait, she turned down 3 title fights?
Yeah, that was weird.
And they gave her an 8-week notice. She still couldn't make it. Well, that golden snitch goes, go ahead and send them to the house because something's going on here. Who in their right? This lady's been waiting for this opportunity her entire life. And we've been her 8 weeks and she still won't take it. She turned down 3 fights. What the fuck's going on here? Skeptical snake everywhere. And they show up. Obviously, they're the best in the world at catching people do PEDs. They had a legit reason to come after. And it's the same girl who, after Ronda loses, who she's never fought, who's Ronda agreed to fight, she can't make the weight, she talks all this shit, and then you test positive for PEDs, and you throw shade at Ronda for losing a fight? What world are we living in? It's just something like, Looks like this matchup's never going to happen now. I think we all know what would happen after watching that. Amanda Nunes is the real champ. We all know who the best in the world is. Hey, man, you don't have much to talk about when you're fucking suspended on PEDs. We're waiting for it, but still. Nunes and Cyborg mercilessly troll around on Twitter. I don't think there's room for I don't think. Listen, man, there's nothing more black and white than when you knock somebody out inside the octagon. Like, you've won. You've won. And I'm a huge Amanda Nunes fan. And her resentment and her anger comes from a different spot because she didn't get marketed right. And she feels like she's been undercut. And she feels like Dana and Ronda are a team and they work for the same company. And they're kind of bullying her. So I get her. That's fine. You've won. Let it go now. Don't keep it going.
You get it.
Not cool. I get where you're coming from. Chris Cyborg put at Chris Cyborg. I wonder if Amanda Leoa is going to be in any UFC commercials now. And still, Boa, Brazil shit. I guess we know why the fight never happened now. Best ever. Don't believe everything the media tells you. Boa. Again, you're in no position to talk.
Exactly.
You're in the same boat as fucking Justin Bieber right now. Why are you guys throwing shade at Ronda Rousey? You're under suspicion of PEDs. Ronda's passed every test she's ever had in the world. Yep. She's been tested more than anyone in the UFC. Never had a problem. Compete at the Olympic level, never had a problem. No links to PEDs, nothing. She's just a genetic freak. Oh, and not to mention Chris Cyborg. You wouldn't even be in the UFC if it wasn't for her. If there's no Ronda, there's no women division at all.
Yeah, that's true.
So don't forget who paved the way to get your ass to even this point. Not to mention you're under investigation for PEDs. What the fuck are you talking about? That's like a guy in prison talking shit to me about my show. Huh? You get 1 hour of free time. You're in solitary confinement. Are you talking shit to me? Yeah, I am, bro. And that sandwich you're eating looks shitty too. You're eating prison food. We're not even in the same lane. What the fuck? Are you eating a ham sandwich in prison talking shit about my turkey sandwich? I'm free. That's Rhonda. She's free. Chris, you're in prison. You're in solitary confinement talking shit to someone. God damn it. I've been on the Cyborg train, but you really fucked yourself. What else you got?
And the Amanda thing too, you made me like her so much more. And then seeing the stuff that she's doing post-fight, it just bums me out, you know?
This is the problem. And this is a girl who's not media savvy, which is one of the reasons they didn't market her a lot. One of the reasons. I'm not saying it was the right decision, but it's one of the reasons they didn't market her very much. She's not very media savvy, like I said. So you're not going to win more fans by doing the shit talking.
Yeah.
You're not. It's not the Conor McGregor. Has Conor ever talked shit after a fight? No. Has he ever been mean like Ronda after a fight? Never. So we gravitate towards that because we want our athletes to be heroes. After you knock a girl out like she knocked it, like just demolish Ronda, I don't want to see you keep throwing shit. You've won in every way possible. It's not the same way as a football player who a wide receiver catches a touchdown on him, and like if he talks shit, it's like, all right, well, it's football. So this is as raw and real as it gets. You fucking won, man, and we all know it. Yeah. There's no controversy. There's no hiccups. You completely outclassed her. We all get it. Don't go on social media. Just make it about yourself. You should be posting pictures of you and your girlfriend, how happy you are. This was a dream come true. Give me a throwback when you're in the gym in Brazil, dead broke. You want to win fans? Tell your story. Don't relish in someone's downfall.
Absolutely.
Because again, Amanda, the only reason you have this platform is because of the girl you just beat. Yep. And that's the only reason. And you're lucky you didn't catch her 3 years ago. Don't get it twisted. And don't fuck this opportunity up. I'm sure people in Brazil might be celebrating this because this whole Ronda Cyborg thing. If you want to be a international star, if you want American brands to jump on board, be a good person. And she's a good person. Whoever is telling you to keep posting this shit is fucking your world up. I wouldn't get behind that. You've won, man. Quit throwing shade at her. Quit doing it. Again, use this opportunity, and what the UFC should do with Amanda. Amanda is a good person. She's just emotional. She's upset she didn't get any recognition, blah, blah, blah. Amanda and the UFC should use this opportunity. Do a world tour now with Amanda. Hey, this girl is the face of the 135-pound division. Name one person who can beat her right now. Kat Zingano beat her a little while ago, but if they fight right now, Kat's been out so long, she'd be in trouble. Pena, Juliana Pena, maybe. But still, right now, go do your world press tour now. Introduce us to her story. There should be a fucking loop on her story right now. A 24/7 type of show that should be on her upbringing, old fighting footage, jiu-jitsu footage, her first fights. And she lost her first MMA fight.
Oh, I didn't know
she
that.
lost her first MMA fight fast, too, and then came back and went on this crazy run. Her fights in Strikeforce, you can show that. Right now should be the time where you let us know who just murked one of your biggest stars of all time. It wasn't even a competitive fight. But don't do this route. Don't go this route. Don't be a hater. No one gravitates towards that. They just don't. And she's a good person. I just think she's emotional. She's upset. She's lashing out at the UFC for not backing her.
Yeah.
And the UFC fucked up, man. And this is the problem with WME, who does not know the game. Wait a second. You're going to put all your eggs in the basket of Ronda Rousey, who we don't know her mental state. And we'll get into that when we break down Ronda. We don't know her mental state. She's had 411 days off. All her movie and acting projects canceled. Okay. In her last fight, she got head kick KO viciously. Okay. Her camp is pure shit. Mm-hmm. So we're going to put all the eggs in that basket? Well, yeah, because everyone at WME knows who she is. I know, but this isn't WWE. The way this works, those MMA gods don't give a fuck that you guys have a $4 billion nut. They do not care. They don't care who wins. They don't show favorites. And she is fighting a Brazilian killer who is embarrassed, who is upset, and you've put in a fucking weird spot, man. And she's probably the hardest hitter at 135. That's who she's facing. And you're going to put all your eggs in that basket? God, you guys fucked up. Know the game. Know the fucking game.
You could tell she was, just what you were saying, how they weren't pushing her. You could tell she was pissed at that entirely. Not so much Ronda Rousey, but the fact that
I don't think it was a Ronda issue.
Yeah.
I think it was more, and this is the problem. You make your bed, you're laying it. When you and Dana are that close, and he gives you a pass to no media, he gives you a pass to fight whoever you want, whenever you want. He'll give you this, he'll give you that, and everyone else can get that same treatment. It's a thing in your competitive nature to go, fuck her, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What is going on here? This is weird. For you guys, imagine being in a classroom and the teacher's just focusing on this one kid he's really smart, he's good looking. You know what I'm saying? Everyone kind of wants to be like him, and the teacher's only focused on him. Only calls on him. When they pass out treats, he gets triple the treats. You might not get any treats. He gets triple. Recess, we're going to give him another hour. You guys come in and study. What the fuck?
Yeah.
At some point, you're like, what the I'm just as smart as he is.
Or smarter.
What's wrong with me? And everyone goes, fuck that guy. Even though that guy, anyone would do the exact same thing. It's the Sage Northcutt syndrome. Of course you'd take Sage's pay. Of course you'd take his notoriety. He didn't ask for that. Uncle Dana's doing that. But when you do that, realize everyone in that classroom puts a bull eyes on that guy's back. They're not going to be his friend. They don't want to be his friend. They want to fight him. They want to fuck him up. And also, some of those kids might be smarter. And in this case, they might be better fighters. But you spent no time to give them focus. So now you're reaping the fruits of your labor. And it's not good. It's rotten fruit. Because that fruit's pissed. Does that make sense?
It's not fruit, yeah.
I went down to I'm going to give you guys some weird analogies here. It's where my mind's at right now. But you can see why Amanda's so upset. And the UFC, boy, did they drop the ball on this one. And I once heard a guy high up with bald head that represents the UFC go, we control who the star is. They don't realize that we decide who the superstar is. I beg to differ. I bet you're not the NFL. I beg to differ. There's not a draft class of 300 guys coming in that you can dictate the next star. You have a very finite window. You do not dictate who the star is. The fighter dictates who the star is. Amanda Nunes earned her star by punching a hole through Ronda's face. You guys did not control that. Because if you controlled that, Amanda Nunes would have been submitted in the first round. I guarantee you, the UFC, WME prayed to whatever God they believe in that Ronda Rousey to win that fight.
Yeah.
I would love to hear someone argue different. I would love to, because I will destroy you in that argument. And with many, many stats, financial stats, whatever you want to do. What else you got?
This is the last one on this, I promise. But since we're talking about throwing shade,
Yeah.
and someone that we like throwing shade, did you see
Who?
Michael Venom page? He did a little Instagram music video, and it's all mocking
Hashtag do the
Ronda.
Rousey, hashtag new dance, hashtag Happy New Year, hashtag the best hands down, hashtag hands down. All right, let's see it. Listen, you make a joke out of anything, but when you're another fighter, this is a small fraternity, man.
It's pretty much this the entire way through.
Man, it's a low budget video, isn't it? How long is it?
About
Oh,
a
he
minute
went
long?
indoor and did it.
Yeah. And he's just showing him getting knocked
Yeah, just
Punched.
like Ronda did.
and then throwing like really bad combinations.
Um,
That was pretty
yeah, you can stop it there.
But he's another dude that
26,000
love.
views, and I
Oh,
like
sorry.
this guy.
Yeah.
You're gonna gain no fans by doing that, man. So I promise you this, Michael Venom Page. Listen, my friend, I'm a huge fan. You're the future Bellator. You got some shit to work on with your wrestling. I still think you're the future. You're the most exciting guy in Bellator by far. No one's even remotely close to that guy. He's so fun to watch. His last fight was a little suspect. That's whatever. The right matchups, amazing fights. You're gonna win no fans by relishing someone's demise, especially a person of Ronda Rousey's caliber. And I promise you, as the sun's going to come up tomorrow, you will lose a fight. You will get knocked out. Ronda has way more power than you. She's way more fame. When you get knocked out, would you want Ronda and her followers to make a video of you getting knocked out like that?
Exactly.
Listen, when a fan does it, they've never been that lane. It's just them, they might be a Pena fan, a Nunes fan, so they're doing it out of respect for whoever they like. It's no different than when Oakland Raider makes fun of a Denver Broncos fan if there's an interception or something like that. I get that loyalty there. When you're in this fraternity, this fight fraternity, and it goes back not that long, let's say 30 years, we're all in the same fraternity. We know exactly what it takes to get where you got. We know what winning and losing feels like. Mm-hmm. You're not going to see anyone really legit mocking anyone for losing a fight. The risk that Ronda took to come out of, 411 days, she's doing these movies, all this pressure on her. She didn't fight a cakewalk fight. She didn't fight Gina Carano, who's been doing movies too. Not that that's a cakewalk fight, but that would make more sense that she'd fight a Gina Carano. They were close to signing that fight.
Oh, wow.
Not for this fight, years ago.
Oh, okay.
Gina was going to come back. But they're worried, and especially at the time, she'd probably lose, and then she wouldn't be marketable in movies, which we'll get to when we break down Ronda.
Yeah.
But for Michael Venom Page, again, it's very narrow-minded. We're in this elite fraternity, man. And I get shit talking, building a fight. Come on, man. Who watched that and is inspired by that?
Exactly.
I don't understand it.
As a guy who knows marketing, is there anything he's trying to do there to help his name or make it more marketable? Like, is there any positive thing that he's doing there?
There's nothing there. It only got 26,000 views, so I don't think it's taken the internet by storm. It's not very original. I could understand it if it was a guy in his division who's the champion, he wanted that fight next, posting that. then strategic and marketing wise, it makes sense. You're talking about a 135-pound female who's done more for the sport than you can ever imagine, and you're mocking her for getting knocked down in 48 seconds by a killer in Amanda Nunes. I just don't get it. Not to mention, Amanda Nunes would probably beat up most of the competition you faced in Bellator. Like, let's be real. You're fighting nobodies. I love Michael Venom Page, but don't get it twisted. If he came in the UFC, it'd be a short career right now. He has a lot of talent. So much talent, and I am a fan, and he's English, which makes me like him even more because I'm half English. But don't get it twisted, man. You're not fighting the cream of the crop over there. If you weren't sheltered and you came to UFC, they would eat your dick up like a bad porno. Like, what are you talking about? Watch your P's and Q's, man. We're in the same fraternity. We don't piss on each other unless the only time, and it's like baseball, there's rules, man. There's unspoken rules. You do not piss on each other like that unless you want to fight that person. Then it's personal, and then that's a good marketing move. I get it. But yeah, I don't get this negativity and the hate on, even when Conor McGregor lost, everyone laughing at it. I guess. Not to mention, back to Michael Venom Page, not to mention, and who else talks shit? Okay, let's go with Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg. Even if you want to break it down like this, we're not, and money's not the rule of everything, but Ronda made more in that fight than all three of you combined ever in your career.
Yeah.
You want to keep going? She made more in 48 seconds of that ass whooping that you're making fun of. She made more in that fight than all three of you combined ever. You guys still want to talk shit? She made more money off her Reebok deal, Michael Venom Page, than you've ever made in your entire fighting career. She made more money doing terrible acting in the Entourage movie than all three of you ever made in your fighting careers. Should we keep going? Are you guys good?
We're good.
What else you got?
Well, on the other spectrum of that, someone who doesn't have to prove anything, obviously, John Jones is got her back big time through a bunch of Twitter posts with Ronda Rousey, obviously. So you can read through them right there.
So he didn't tag her, but my advice to Ronda would be pick yourself up and try again. Okay, that's fair. Mm-hmm. I believe Rousey will be a champion for the rest of her life. That's not true. She just lost it, but I see what he's saying. Yeah. Even if she never wins another fight, I agree with that. I think it's important for Ronda to show her fans how great she is, truly by displaying her courage and giving another try. She did that and failed. I don't think she owes the fans anything. I don't think people need to see her win to validate anything. What she does next will truly determine her legacy. I disagree. Her legacy is already sealed. I really hope she chooses to be unbroken. Who said she was broken? I also still believe she beats 9% of the division. That doesn't work because that 10%, especially in the women's division, means you're just a girl. Maybe she just needs to compliment her coach with an MMA family. Maybe she should join one of the bigger MMA teams. Being around other badasses, constantly sharing your spotlight could be good for you in so many ways. They improve your humility. I don't know if he's the best guy to be talking to her. I'll be honest. Constantly being humbled is never a bad thing in a sport like this. The only time John Jones is ever humbled is by the authorities, the law. I mean, is he the best guy for the job to be giving advice? I mean, that's like Lindsay Lohan telling me about drinking. Brendan, let's not have that beer. What? The fuck? Is that Lindsay Lohan telling me to chill out on New Year's Eve? The fuck out of my face. The hell? That's like Charlie Sheen telling me to relax. Huh? Are you serious right now? I think it's cool he has her back, and she had his back at a downtime in his life and career, so it's cool. The whole what's your next? Do we want to go on the Ronda stuff? You want me to break down the Ronda stuff? What do you have? You know what? I'll do it now, and then we can keep going. The whole thing that I see online, and is my point I was trying to make it on the fight recap and all that stuff, is everyone's very quick to say, just change camps. Oh, that'll solve everything. It's your coaching. Now, let me start by saying Edmond, Glendale Fight Club top 5 worst coaches of all time. I'll give you that. He's awful, awful, awful coach. Yeah. Ronda would be exactly where she's at, whether she trained out of her garage or whether she trained there. I've always told her that. He gave her a false sense that she was this world-class striker. The media gave her this false sense that she was the next Mike Tyson, because she was knocking girls out. Not really with technique, just with tenacity. There's audio of him saying how Triple G saw her train in Big Bear and didn't have any critique of her boxing. There's certain high-level boxers that had no critique of her boxing, and Edmund ran with that, which is crazy. I just think she's the perfect storm of being around yes men. And I think what happened in the fight was you can't go based off of, we're going to get deep here, so follow along for the ride. Ronda looked physically fantastic, right? She's never looked bad. She was ripped. She's always ripped. Maybe not this ripped. She looked great. She's in physical shape. The body is right. She had knee surgery. The knees are right. Her diet's on point. She made weight easy. There's all these things lining up. The one thing we cannot see and the one thing you cannot train is the mental part. Now you can, and we all, well, I shouldn't say we all know, anyone who's played sports, there's that guy who physically, god damn, did he come down from the heavens? Like 4% body fat, runs a 4.3 in the 40. In practice, he's catching the footballs left or right. I've never seen anything like this. Guy's going to be a first-round draft pick. And for whatever reason, we can't see that brain. What's the brain look like, man? We don't know what mental state he's in. So when I heard people saying, God, Ronda looks great. She looks great. That's all physical. That's all physical. Yeah. A great training camp, that's physical. A great game plan, and you're implementing it in the gym, that's all physical. Really, your coach telling you you're doing against these sparring partners who are paid sparring partners who are there to mimic Amanda Nunes. I don't know what she did for sparring, anything like that. All that is physical. Eating right, physical. Making weight, physical. Hitting pads, physical. And I can say this as a former professional athlete in some of the highest level football games, into some of the biggest UFC fights of my career. There were times where, did I train harder than my opponent? I promise you I did, more than anyone I ever fought. I put in more hours, more effort, more everything. But if the computer, your brain, does not want to be there, it does not matter how hard you train leading up to that. It does not matter what you ate for breakfast that morning. It does not matter who's sitting in the crowd. None of that matters. None of that matters. It doesn't matter if I can run a 4.3 in the 40. If my mind isn't right, if I don't think I'm the best receiver to ever step on this field and beat that world-class cornerback and catch this pass, it doesn't matter my physical attributes. It just doesn't. People go, well, don't you think Ronda, to Rogan's point, she really didn't even get going? Okay, let's talk about that. There's certain red flags leading up to this fight. 411 days off. That's a red flag for me. Name another world-class champion who would want that amount of time off. Well, she's busy doing movies. Red flag for me. Name another world champion, high-level athlete in any sport that would take that much time off from their actual sport to make a movie. LeBron James did Trainwreck. Hold. LeBron James won the world championship, MVP, and filmed for, ready, 1 week on Trainwreck in the offseason. He's not an actor. He's LeBron James. Mm-hmm. He's not playing the lead. It's like Mike Tyson when he was going through his huge run, being the lead in Hangover. Huh? The fuck? You can't do that, man. Because Lennox Lewis is training his ass off for you. So there's certain red flags. The big one to me, the clear one to see, and I'm not saying, I told you so. I told you she was going to lose this fight. I said if it's vintage Ronda, she goes in there and submits Amanda Nunes. That's if mentally she's ready to go. That's a big fucking if, man. And that's why all my friends always ask me to bet on the fights, blah, 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 and who should they bet on. I told them I can give you all the main card except for this one. I was right on every single one. Cody Garbrandt, I said would be champ, not this fight. I was wrong on that one. I talked to Cody about that last night. My bad. But I was right on every other one. I said money-wise, I bet Cody, and my boy Todd did, and blah, blah, blah. But on this one, there's too much of an X factor. What's the X factor? Does Ronda want to be in there? It's not even that. Maybe she does want to be in there. Does she feel like she's the best in the world? That's the X factor. Because if there's any shadow of the doubt, if there's any hesitation, she will lose this fight. What happened? And people go, well, she got hit first. They had a game plan. The game plan was to move, head movement. What do you think changed? Did you see any head movement? 0. Did you see any movement? 0. What do you chalk that up to? Bad knees? Nope. Knees are good to go. Bad footwork? Nope. We've seen her have great footwork. Has she avoided punches before? Yep. Has she closed the distance, got the clinch, and tossed girls on their faces? Yep. Has she beat a girl in 17 seconds who beat Nunes? Yep. So what's going on here? We've seen her physically do all this stuff before. What do you think is going on here? Mental game, man. And I think the big fucking sign, man, the big sign is mentally she was not right. Matter of fact, she wasn't so right that Dana White gave her an exemption to speak to the media. What the fuck? Dana White. I don't give a fuck who he says is his best friend, what relationship they have behind the scenes. I don't care about any of that. That is a enormous red flag. He's in the business of selling fights. He has a $4 billion nut. He doesn't want to look like an idiot. He doesn't get all that $4 million unless he hits certain incentives, by the way. So for him, he's in the business of selling the fight. Guess what doesn't sell the fight? When your main event, the number 2 biggest draw in the world, won't give interviews. And you're going to give her an exemption? I went, what the fuck? And Roman goes, it's owned by a new company, so it's the new owners. And then Dana White goes, nah, that was me. I don't want it ever to happen again, but I agreed to it. And I thought, oh my God, why wouldn't you want her to talk? Why wouldn't you force her maybe just to talk to a few members of the media who aren't going to bring up her last fight or whatever? But have a committee that you've selected that know the game who just want to talk about this fight and what she's been dealing with and stuff like that. To give her that exemption is a huge red flag. Yeah. It's the same red flag exemption that Brock Lesnar got at UFC 200. If your skeptical hippo eyes don't come out when Brock goes, hey, man, I didn't know I was going to fight. They gave me an exemption. What's up? What's wrong? And he comes juiced to the gills and then beats Mark Hunt. If your skeptical fucking hippo eyes aren't like, what the fuck? There's certain exemptions that are for a reason. The UFC didn't get to this point because they're stupid. The UFC doesn't give Ronda exemption from media, which sells the pay-per-views for no reason, just because Ronda doesn't want to do interviews and Dana and her are friends. Huh? God, dog, that's a red flag. And then we see what happens. People say, oh, it's easy to say now because look, no. Listen to every interview I did before this. I said, if she's not mentally prepared, we will see it. But Amanda, and I'm not taking away from Amanda Nunes. She did her job. However, have we ever seen Ronda have better footwork? Mm-hmm. Have we ever seen Ronda close the distance on a power puncher? Mm-hmm. Have we ever seen her get an underhook, toss a girl? Mm-hmm. So what's different in this fight? You tell me. This isn't hard to figure out. I watch just as much first 48 hours as you guys do. I feel like an investigator some nights, especially when I'm high. However, this one is pretty easy to figure out. What else you got?
We did talk about that too in the last breakdown, Big Round Breakdown. We were talking about how
it's a huge factor, man.
You said first round finish for sure, right? And then you were saying
it only goes 2 ways.
Yeah.
Either it's Ronda quick submission, she gets in, she's ready to go, toss that bitch on their face, armbar, and we're back in that Ronda business. Yeah. Or, which I said on JRE too, in this weird world, Amanda Nunes goes, huh? She knocks her out early. Yeah, it's the only two outcomes. There's none other. Either Ronda comes to fight, she wins, or Ronda's not mentally there, she's forced to fight and gets murked. God damn, did she get murked. It was tough to watch, too.
The last thing we said, too, was her mental.
It's everything.
And then you were, in the very end, you're like, I don't think, without saying words so much, but you're like, she's not there. So
I have my inside sources. The other thing is she was going to get on the mic and spew pure hatred towards. She was upset with Rogan and the media, and she had all this dark energy. So I think that could have played a part in why they didn't let her do interviews. Because like, you ain't going to win any fans by doing that. We can't have that right now. But she just had so much hate and felt like the world was against her. Well, you lost the fight. It's not the world. But so she had all this kind of fucking built-in anger that she was just going to unleash if she won. Now we'll never hear it. Yeah, go ahead and just pillow talk. Go ahead and tell your man that negative shit. I don't know what to tell you. What are you going to do?
That would be crazy if she won and we heard that.
Wouldn't gain any fans by doing that. She's the victim of her own demise, man. You want to play that dark shit? You're going to bring out the darkness angels on Instagram and Twitter, and you leave yourself open to it, man. You want to be a sore loser or a sore winner? You want to be a sore winner? Name a sore winner someone likes. Yeah, nothing. I got nothing either.
Do you think she'll be back?
I don't. I think this is it.
This is it?
I think it's it. I think I don't know why she would come back. And again, 411 days in MMA years is like taking 3 years off from football, 4 years off from football, then going, how that hike? Hit me. Huh? You're running the same out route that fucking Jay Rice was running. Well, now you got a guy in Larry Fitzgerald or Antonio Brown running the out route. Quicker, faster, different, something we've never seen. And you're going to try to run that old fucking out route? The 411 days in MMA is 3-4 years in every other sport. That's how fast our sport's growing. Yeah. That's how fast it's going. If I came back right now, I'd look like fucking Jack Dempsey. I've been out for 3 years, whatever the fuck it was. I retired in 2014, December 6th. I look like Jack Dempsey up in that bitch. You're like, what the fuck is this? Sorry, guys. I've been telling dick jokes and doing podcasts. And what happened? You guys don't fight like this anymore? No. Why are you wearing a helmet? Oh, fuck. You guys don't do CTE shit? No. The fuck? It's just the sport evolves so fast, man. It just does. I think those 411 days off were a mistake. I think if she's going to take even longer off now, and then what? She comes back and fights a more seasoned Amanda Nunes and changes what? And everyone goes, dude, she should just change camps. Doesn't work like that. It drives me nuts. You know what? It doesn't drive me nuts. It's people who aren't in this business. Mm-hmm. It just, again, it's a chemistry thing. You can say, oh, go to Jackson's, trains with him. Okay, let's say she does. Let's say her and Greg Jackson don't see eye to eye on certain things. Let's say she doesn't gel with the camp. Let's say she's used to being the only top dog in the gym, but she goes to Jackson's and there's a bunch of killers in there and she doesn't really like it. Let's say she moves to Albuquerque and she gets homesick, doesn't really dig that because she spent her entire judo career traveling around not having a home. Let's say, there's so many X factors that you can't just say, move here and change. Maybe Greg Jackson doesn't vibe with her. Maybe Winklejohn doesn't understand the way she works, so they can't coach her, and she doesn't pick up on that coaching. Maybe her ego's so big, she's not open to new things. You ever think about that? There's certain X factors where a lot of athletes can't just change what they're doing. And people say, well, they would have gave her a better game plan. What would have been the better game plan? Well, she should have stayed on the outside and picked her shots. Okay, she's never done that ever in her career. And so you expect her at the highest level to make those changes while she's shooting all these movies, doing all this shit, to sit on the outside and pick her shots? What are you talking about? It doesn't work like that. That's like turning Peyton Manning into a running quarterback. But he's working with this track coach. I know that's not what he does though. I don't give a fuck if Usain Bolt is coaching him on running straight forward. If that's not your cup of tea and you don't gel with Usain Bolt, it's not going to help you. It's not going to correlate to the game. It just doesn't work like that. There's so many factors in a relationship between a coach and a fighter. It's such an intimate relationship. And that's why Ronda's so loyal to Edmund, even though he's so bad. And he has no business being her coach. And you look at the other guys and women he's coaching, they're so bad. He single-handedly ruined Travis Brown's career, who has more talent than anyone who's ever came through that gym, including Ronda. And he's a terrible fighter now. Even though he beat me. He's a terrible fighter now. And his career's going down the drain. And he loses to Derek Lewis, he'll probably get cut, especially how much they're paying him. So even Ronda can't save you there. But the relationship between a coach and a fighter is so intimate, and it's, on Avatar, I'm going on these weird tangents. On Avatar, how they connect their hair to the horse? Mm-hmm. That's what it's like. And you remember when he first got on that horse, and that horse was like, what the fuck? Well, that's what it's like if a coach and a fighter don't vibe. They're not going to gel together. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why certain fighters couldn't just go work with Freddie Roach, even though he's the best boxing coach in the world. His coaching might not work for somebody. And you're also talking about 30-year-old Ronda, who she's made it pretty fucking far. She's a Hall of Famer doing what she does best. And it's not chucking and jiving, jabbing, Floyd Mayweather mitt sessions and stuff like that. So you can't say that. It's not the NFL. It's not, all right, just take Tony Romo, put on Broncos to win the Super Bowl. Probably. It's plug and play. It's X's and O's. It's very similar coaching. It's different. They're professionals. What makes college coaches great is they have to build a chemistry. It's not black and white. They have to build a team atmosphere, a brotherlyhood atmosphere where the goal of winning a game is bigger than the accomplishments of yourself. Does that make sense? Yeah. In fighting, it's all you. It's that relationship with that fucking Avatar horse. Hey, Avatar 2, where the fuck are you? Why do they do this shit? It's like Entourage. It came out 6 years too late. I forgot what happened the last season. I remember Ari Gold. That's about it. You're throwing Turtle in my face. You're throwing fucking Johnny Drama. I don't even remember where we left off. Avatar 2 came out when I was in high school. Avatar was the first 3D movie. How many 3D? Hey, man, I don't even remember the last Avatar. Now you fucks and come out with part 2. What's in 2 years? My boy Tate Fletcher's in it. He filmed it like 4 years ago. Hey, man, hurry up with the edit. All right, sorry.
Sorry. You were going to say something about Ronda, because now that she's apparently not going to come back. Well, who knows, right?
Yeah, I don't think she comes back. It makes no sense. I don't know what's for her.
With their films, you were going to say something about...
Oh, you're talking about movie career? Yeah. That's over. You want me to get into that? Yeah, that's over, because the way that works is Ronda's a far cry from Daniel Day-Lewis. You're talking about a guy who's in entertainment. No one's hiring me for an acting gig because I'm Brendan Schaub. A, I'm not that famous. But B, I'm in the same boat as all the other actors, entertainers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not like if they put me in a movie, the millions of people are going to come out and go to that movie to see me in the movie. So I have to become a student of that game. You have to go to acting class. You have to humble yourself. You have to go through all these processes. With a person like Ronda Rousey, Mike Tyson, the list goes on. LeBron James, with these elite superstar athletes who have a huge fan base, you can plug them into movies and they can play themselves. Yeah. And that is the sell in the movie. Floyd Mayweather could be in a movie, and we know Floyd for his greatness, 50-0, hits women, blah, blah, blah. And I said blah, 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 so add that to the chart. Whatever. It fit there, you fucks. Ronda's been KO'd twice. Yeah. The last fight wasn't even competitive. There's no more sell. What are you going to sell me on? What could you possibly sell me on? That greatness is gone. It is right now. So you're going to make her a lead in the movie, and we're going to recognize that's Ronda Rousey, the greatest women's champion of all time, undefeated. This is before her 2 losses when they're doing these movies and when she committed all these movies. So we're buying that. We're going to give her leeway because she's Ronda Rousey, greatest female fighter of all time. She's going to do this action movie, whatever movie she's going to do. And we're going to give her the pass because we want to see that greatness in that arena, which is the movies. When that greatness goes away and you're in movies, well, now you're just another actress. The greatness is gone. Now you're in the same lane as all these other actresses. Now people aren't buying tickets because you're the Ronda the Great. They're buying tickets to be entertained with your acting. So if your acting's poor, we can't sell that product. And that's what happened. So that acting well runs dry, man. And it's the nature of the business, even though, WME might financially back your story themselves or some shit, and they run some of Hollywood. Not as much as CAA does. Shout out to CAA. Don't get it twisted. CAA trumps them bitches. But it's a tough sell. Look at Gina Carano. Gina Carano did not take that fight with Ronda when it was offered. Because, all right, if we don't really think of Gina getting murked by Cyborg. That happened so long ago. Yeah. And she was still the pioneer of the sport. Remember her as being that hot girl. I still do. She was in Deadpool. But she's not, she's an actor. She's a straight actress. That's her thing. That's all she does. Mm-hmm. Her in Deadpool, she had 2 lines. She played a great part. She played her role. That's not Ronda. Maybe down the road, maybe once time passes. Those 2 knockouts were so vicious, man. And that's how you remember Ronda as of right now. So there's no movies. That well in LA runs so fucking dry. It's just the nature of the business. If a legit actor bombs 2 blockbusters in a row, poof, that well goes, nope, get the fuck out of here. It's just, that's the way it works. But I don't think the acting was her passion. I think it was something fun for her to do. Again, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. And, I said this with Rogan. I think he'll agree to this. We're in the day and age, if you're not 100% all in on being a fighter, you're going to get fucked up. You're going to get fucked up. If you're, because what do you think Amanda Nunes was doing when Ronda's on set?
Training.
What do you think Cody Garbrandt was doing while Dominic Cruz was flying to LA to do all this UFC tonight and do commentate the fights? What do you think Cody's doing?
Same.
Correct. In Michael Bisping's case, he's doing all these movies and stuff like that, and I love Michael, and he knows this. What do you think the rest of the competition is doing? Same. Now, I realize you got to capitalize on your opportunities. What do you think Michelle Waterson was doing when Paige Van Nance was doing Dance with the Stars for 3 to 4 months? What do you think she was doing?
Dedicated her life to training.
Mm-hmm. And it shows. And again, we're in this weird dynamic right now where entertainment company buys the UFC, and what can they bring to the table? You're going to see more fighters in movies, TVs, commercials, Conan O'Brien, Ellen. Okay. But if you're having to do all this stuff and their fame's getting bigger over there, what about the training? So then it diminishes the actual product in the cage. Yep. Pick your poison. They're going to find a balance, or the fighters are going to find a balance. Look at a guy like Conor. And you guys go, well, Conor shot that video game ad. That took 2 days of his life. He made how much money? So that makes sense. But he's not committing to a full season. He's not doing Game of Thrones.
Oh, he's not?
He's not doing Game of Thrones.
Oh.
He's not doing Predator the movie. He's not doing any of that. You know why?
Did he just back out?
He never committed to it.
Oh, rumors.
It's all rumors. You want to know why?
Why?
Because he wants to be the best. He doesn't give a fuck about Game of Thrones. He doesn't give a fuck about being a new Predator movie. He doesn't care about any of that. You know why? Because he's a fighter. But also, he's a fighter who's making enough money where he doesn't have to do those other things.
Yeah.
What's he need to be in a movie for? To get more famous? God damn. More famous than anyone in those movies. It's crazy. What else you got, brother?
We got a couple of things, but do you want to go into the fights or you want to see some Ryzen stuff.
Give me one or two about Rising. I'll hear Mirko Cro Cop, King Mo here. Listen, I thought King Mo looked good. He was doing a lot of things right. Mirko Cro Cop in Rising, and don't get twisted. I fought the same Mirko, by the way. USADA wasn't back then, so let's not get crazy here. But yes, there's no USADA back then, and he was jacked, strongest guy I ever fought. Look at the guns on him. Anyways,
enormous.
For sure, bring back the Croatian shorts though. I thought King Mo looked good. It was a lot for him to take on with these heavyweights. He's a small guy, even though he fights at 205. He's a smaller guy, even though he's shredded. Mirko had great takedown defense, just ended up catching him, and then Mirko just goes on from there to start murking the rest of the guys. Fought that Iranian,
Amir Al-Akbari,
who's a monster, murked
Destroyed
him.
too,
yeah. So good on Cro Cop, man. This is exactly where he should be. The UFC with the testing and stuff. If you want to fight, especially when you're older, there'd be no reason to sign with the UFC with how strict their drug testing is. It's not an old man's league. It's just not. You know what Rising is like? It's like the Masters for golf. It's just the older man. You know what I'm saying? Like they should just market to the older crowd, and the Japanese love it. Like Gabby Garcia versus that grandma.
That was terrible, man.
It's the worst fight I've ever seen in my life.
Who was that lady, anyways? I never even.
I think she had a wrestling entertainment background.
Oh no!
So she did that, and she probably needed the money. But if you're Gabby Garcia, I get it; it's an easy payday, but you probably should ask yourself, why are you fighting? Yeah. And if it's to get easy paydays, okay, keep doing that. I guess if they're gonna pay attention at Japan, I'm not mad at you. But if you want to be an actual fighter, probably fight someone that. Probably don't fight grandmas. Yeah. The fuck was that?
I'm sure you did see the entire that fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
I watched all of it. It'll hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't get it. I have no idea what's going on there.
It's
How you got
uncomfortable to
sanctioned?
watch.
Yeah,
it's uncomfortable to watch.
Fight less long than the UFC main event though.
That's true.
What were you gonna say though?
So this is probably the league that Barnett should probably head up to.
You tell me fucking Barnett versus Cro Cop in the championship of Rising wouldn't be huge?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. And they're both on whatever they're on before.
This is exactly what Josh Barnett should be doing. And he's a huge name in Japan because he does all that wrestling and Greco and all that shit. That couch wrestling, he's huge over there. He does actual wrestling over there. What else you got, brother?
Did you... This is not even about her fight, but your girl, Rin Nakai, do you remember her?
Yeah, I remember Rin.
Did you?
She still have that blowout ass? Is she Korean?
No, she's Japanese.
Ah, no, I haven't seen this.
This is her weigh-in.
Dude, she was fine when she was in the UFC.
I'll tell you what. Her, whatever supplement she's taking, she's on it big time. Look at this weigh-in.
No, is she too muscular now?
Check it out.
Oh,
I don't know if you've seen this, but it's amazing.
Oh, God, dog. She is jacked.
Jacked.
She's doing this for that special fetish shit. She's bodied up in a bad way. I mean, I'm not mad at her lower half. She gets ass for days, son. How tall is she? Her fighting style is so weird. But she looks like Odd Job. She looks like Odd Job in fucking weird sexual dominator gear.
Yeah, she's incredibly ripped now.
She's a cutie though, man. Too ripped.
She's definitely
you're too ripped. You can't have bigger arms and shoulders than me, and you just can't. My dick goes, huh? Nope. I'm out. I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out like Sage Northcutt in a triangle choke. I'm fucking out.
She fought. Did you know that she fought this Rising?
Did she win?
She won.
Dude, she's assed up. She's cheeked up though.
Yeah,
would you date her,
This
Chin?
is too awkward, man.
You wouldn't date her?
No, man.
Bro, what a love story.
Look at her.
I wish I had abs like that. And then this lady wearing a goddamn singlet.
Yeah.
Dead serious. See, Rin's a business lady because she knows damn well she's going to do some X-rated videos dressed like this. So she fights like this.
Tons of money.
Damn, she is jacked.
Jacked. Incredibly jacked. Her like obliques, six-pack, everything.
Powerful Everlast singlet. And that Justin Bieber top. God damn it. Tell me Rin won. God,
she won.
Jacked. How did she win?
Do you remember how Ren Nakai punches? She was doing the same jabs from like really far away.
She trained at Glendale too? She trains with Edmund?
But she eventually got close, and then she started hitting her with good combinations, and then eventually, I think, choked her out.
She's a pretty girl. That was a rough get-up, though.
Anyways, I just wanted you to see that. It's been a while.
If I was younger, single, I'd slide in those DMs so fast. Damn, girl, what kind of protein shake you on? Then we compare protein shakes and shit, then start sending nudes.
I don't think they're just using protein shakes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find out, though. Yeah, she is, even at that muscular body, she's still a hottie, but goddamn, you got limits, man. That's one of them. Yeah. Good for her. Little odd job.
Odd job.
Let me go to the bathroom real quick.
All right, sure.
What else you got, dog?
I got this Bisbing Tyron Woodley story. You see this at all?
Yeah, I saw some of this. I saw they agreed at the backstage at UFC 207 that they want to fight.
They both agreed to fight to a catch weight. So they don't want to put their titles on the line. So they just want to do a catch weight bout at 180, I think.
Listen, I think it's fun to talk about. I know Woodley's just looking for a huge fight, which he deserves, because that's the day and age we're in. You just want the biggest, most famous guy possible, so you make the most money, because you're going to get punched in the face regardless. It's not the way the UFC works. They actually have no say in who they fight next, to be honest. Neither one of these guys. To fight at 180 and you put two divisions on hold at 170, the welterweight division, the middleweight division, I highly doubt Dana would do that. It's a fun fight. It's not a blockbuster of a matchup.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
so
that.
Dana's going to go, probably not. And why would we make up a fucking 180 fight, super fight with you guys? Bisping's going to fight fucking Yoel Romero, and Woodley will face
Stephen Thompson again, right?
Yeah, probably Wonder Boy, or as Joey Diaz thinks is sure as day that he's going to face Conor, which I don't see happening next. But that fight, I don't see it happening.
It kind of looked, if you saw the video, it kind of looked staged, sort of.
It's weird. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I don't see the UFC. It makes no sense for anyone involved.
And no titles on the line too, so
it makes no sense. And no titles. It's not a blockbuster fight.
Yeah.
What else you got?
That's it.
All right, man. Should we just do a quick breakdown of this UFC 207?
Sounds good.
You know what? I'm excited after this Big Brown breakdown's over, because I'm sick of talking about UFC 207. I got to be honest. Really do. So we'll just start with a few. So Neil Magny, Johnny Hendricks. Obviously, Neil Magny's my guy. Comes from my old camp. Leister Bowling, who did retire from Team Muscle Farm, which is a huge loss for them. This was his last fight as well with Neil Magny. Listen, I had Neil winning the fight. I think he did enough in the first and the third round to take the fights. I think he was more active. He did more in the second round. Johnny Hendricks took him down and passed guard, which kind of nullified Neil's offense on the ground. But I think this goes to show, and hopefully that judges do recognize when guys are in trouble. Getting caught in those triangles is an offensive movement, is a threat to Johnny Hendricks. And you just look at the numbers, total strikes, granted, wherever they came from, 96 Neil Magny, 52 Johnny Hendricks. Significant strikes, 50 Neil Magny, 18 Johnny Hendricks. And you say, "What? But wait, Johnny had 6 takedowns." Okay, but what did he do with those takedowns? Yeah. Is it a wrestling match or is it a fight?
Exactly.
Why does a takedown for Johnny Hendricks, who has a wrestling background, why does that mean more for a guy of Neil Magny's caliber who it's taken down and maybe his guard is his play, and he catches Johnny Hendricks in 2 triangles and almost finishes the fight? Yeah. Well, why would a takedown mean more than a submission attempt? That's almost, you know what I'm saying? So I did have Neil win the fight 1-3. For Johnny Hendricks, he's in a tough spot, man. He hasn't won a fight in a while. He's missed weight again. Yeah. We've talked about it. It's runs, and his time has come and gone. He'll always be one of my favorites. He was a champion. He'll always be a champion to me. And the thing is, he talked about, he said, me and my wife would decide if this is the last one. If she says it's the last one, it's the last. When you start talking like that, you're 1 foot out. Neil Magny's not 1 foot out. He's both feet in. And there's a common theme with these people who are losing here where they're not all in. Borg, Smoka, Smoka didn't look great. Borg missed weight. He was just a bigger guy, out-grappled him. I predicted Borg would win, by submission. He came close. He still won. Kim versus Safadine. I told you guys this would be a boring-ass fight. Safadine is so calculated and so experienced and has so much technique. He can make any fight boring and still get the win. But in Kim's case, he just kept coming forward. And I think maybe the takedowns and the trips were the difference. I don't think either guy really won that fight. Those two fights were not great. But then the only three that really mattered, I know it's fucked up to say, but if you're a casual fan, the only three that really mattered were TJ Dillashaw, John Lineker. I thought TJ completely nullified Lineker's offense. His aggressiveness just wasn't there. I thought it was more of TJ making Lineker look bad opposed to Lineker not bringing his A game. I think Lineker was hesitant. He was in the same aggressive Lineker, taking chances. He really didn't start to loosen up to the end of that third round. We started winging those body shots. That's the Lineker we know. I think he was just kind of memorized by TJ's movement, aggressiveness, his variety of kicks from the body to the head, so he can unleash that right hand when he wanted to. And when he did finally commit, he'd get taken down. So that gives you a very kind of stagnant John Lineker, which is an easy payday for TJ Dillashaw. I thought TJ looked fantastic, probably the best he's ever looked. So hats off to TJ. I think he does get the next fight with your new champion, Cody Garbrandt, who, in my eyes, is your there's argument for fight of the year. I give it to Amanda Nunes just because she beat two legends. Cody Garbrandt started the year unranked, ends up the number one fighter in the world at that weight class. So, yeesh. And the way Amanda's Nunes is fucking talking shit now, I'll probably go with Cody Garbrandt, and I just like him more. And he fought a Dominic Cruz who came to play and outclassed him. So I know I tweet out Amanda Nunes is my fighter of the year. It's Cody Garbrandt because he was unranked. He beat Mizusaki. He beat Almeida, and he wasn't ranked at the beginning of the year. And then he just didn't murk Dominic Cruz. So Amanda Nunes murked Ronda Rousey. We didn't see what Ronda's cardio was like or anything. She threw like some weird kick and got blasted in the face and just got murked. Dominic Cruz and Cody Garbrandt both came to fight, and Cody outclassed him. So there's a difference there. And so I take back that tweet, and Cody Garbrandt is my fighter of the year. The Big Brown Breakdown fighter of the year is Cody Garbrandt. I know you're going to see Fox Sports probably pick one of their guys who works on their desk. I know you're going to see UFC probably pick someone else. I know you're going to see MMA Fight probably pick somebody else. There's no bias here. I have no dog in the game. Go for what they've done. A guy who was unranked, a guy who outclassed, some say top 3 pound for pound greatest fighters ever, Dominic Cruz. And he beat him in every way possible. And I only gave Dominic Cruz 1 round. That's your fighter of the year. Unranked to the best fighter in the world at that weight class, fighter of the year. And he lasted 25 rounds with the champ. So that's why I give him the nod over Nunes. I was a little emotional after I tweeted that. I apologize. Amanda Nunes, female fighter of the year. Nothing wrong with that. She's in her own lane. Female fighter of the year.
There you go.
Back to Cruz, Garbrandt though. Garbrandt did what Cody Garbrandt does best, and that's why he won the fight. I think Dominic Cruz is a guy who his flashiness and his feints and his messing up of your timing and footwork and his stutter stepping messes a lot of guys up. Cody didn't fall for that and would bring Dominic Cruz to him and make it count with power. And he ended up, dropping him a few times. So I just feel like Cody had the perfect game plan. I'd be down for the rematch. I think that's what Cody wants next. But, Cody versus TJ's the story there, the storyline, and obviously they're into pay-per-view numbers. So there you go. That's probably your next fight. But Cody Garbrandt stole the night for me as far as just outclassing a pound-for-pound great. and really just you want to talk about a star was born? Jesus Christ, man. And his story is great. And fight of the year, definitely the fighter of that night. He stole the show. Amanda Nunes didn't steal the show. Your main event, not much to break down. Amanda Nunes, heaviest puncher at 135. Ronda, she looked great. Again, her mentality wasn't there. Her mom says she should retire. Mama knows best. Because Mama has no incentive for Ronda to keep winning. She has no incentive to make money off of her. She just wants the best for her daughter. So if you're going to listen to anyone in this crazy chaos world and everyone has their opinions, don't listen to me. Don't listen to Luke Thomas. Don't listen to Ariel Helwani. Don't listen to Joe Rogan. Listen to someone who gave birth to the woman and has no skin in the game as far as making money off of her. That would be her mother, who's usually 99.9% of the time correct. She's a very smart lady. She is a doctor, and she raised 4 kids. So as a single mother too. So I think that lady's a badass. So I would listen to her mom. Yeah, not much to say there. Amanda will fight the winner of Juliana Pena versus what's her name? Shevchenko. They're fighting, right?
I don't even know.
She'll probably fight the winner of that. Or maybe she's the 2-belt champion. They have her fight the winner of Holly versus that other chick. Yeah. All right, man. Thank God no more UFC 207. Although Brian's going to want to talk about it tomorrow. No, damn well he didn't watch it. That's why we started these shows. Brian's just going to see some highlights and we got to talk about it. But I'll just skim over it. Or maybe he'll listen to this. Brian, you're probably in your flight right now. Listen to this so we don't have to go over it tomorrow, brother. All right, let's do some fan questions. Is this our longest one ever? A lot of shit to talk about.
Oh, before I forget, also, if you get a chance to check out the Smoka and Hendricks, the day before they weighed in, their interviews and all that stuff. Or actually, when Smoka was on the scale, he looked dead, like out of it. And then Hendricks gave an interview on MMA Fighting. Listen to that interview. He almost sounds like he's on drugs, and he's like kind of like antsy and weird.
Yeah,
check it out.
Just cutting too much weight.
Way too much. Fan questions. Ruimert, what do you think of the match between Cody and TJ with their history? You already said that. But how do you see the match? That's a tough one, right? Tough.
Mm-hmm. I'm not giving my prediction yet.
Okay.
But the thing that makes TJ a little more dangerous is he uses his wrestling better than Dominic does right now. If you see the Lineker fight, TJ's timing on those takedowns is something you really can't train for. But the X factor here is they've trained together. So he's seen TJ's style. And TJ's style is a little easier to predict than Dominic Cruz's. And we saw how Cody did that. But Cody showed his cards now on the way he deals with that type of movement.
Yeah.
So now TJ and Dwayne Ludwig have a game plan to go off of, where before we didn't. So there's a lot up in the air there. But I thought it was really classy. TJ, after the fight, went in the back and came to Cody and went, before all the bullshit starts and all the shit talking starts, congratulations, man. What you did's amazing. Mm-hmm. You know? I thought that was really cool.
It was really cool.
All right.
Oz Wayne, with Kron Gracie's win this weekend, did he prove he belongs in MMA? And how would he fare in the UFC against the best of the best?
Yeah, of course, Kron belongs in
MMA. Yeah.
Kron belongs in MMA. His jiu-jitsu is second to none. He's fighting Ryzen, though, and maybe that's where he needs to be. And he's a huge draw over there. Gracies are huge over there. So hopefully he's getting paid well and he's fighting tough competition. Not yet with the UFC talk. He beat Mizugaki, right? Or Kawajiri. Sorry, Kawajiri.
Oh,
he beat Kawajiri.
Yeah.
So his striking would be the thing there. I don't see why he'd come to the UFC, to be honest. Not yet. Work on your striking, get that done. Use this to build your name, build your brand, build your record, get ranked in the top 10 in the world, and then sign a big payday over to the UFC would be the plan. But Kron has all the tools possible to be a champ in the UFC or any organization.
Coolio. All right, Contreras 431289.
You got to change your Twitter name. If you hate followers, how the fuck are we supposed to follow that? I hear you, though. It's been tough. Maybe just signed up or something. What do you got?
Is the UFC making the same mistake as other companies, for example, WWE and Bellator, in not building up names of new talent? To legit fans, Khabib versus Ferguson is an amazing fight, probably fight of the year, but it won't sell any headline pay-per-views.
Yeah, it's their job, and I think they've been so focused on selling the company and building it up. They have to call it. Remember, they have to call him Brock Lesnar. They have to put out a fucking WWE bat signal to bring Brock Lesnar in just to get UFC 200 buys, so they could show WME and whoever else bought it, hey, we still got it. We still have stars, and that was just all smoke and mirrors. There's only one draw. It's Conor McGregor, and the biggest winner in UFC 207 isn't Amanda Nunes, isn't Cody Garbrandt. It's Conor McGregor. He has more power. He has more power than ever before. He has more power than any UFC fighter ever now, because he's the biggest piece of the cake. He's the giant piece of the pie. There is no UFC without Conor McGregor now. You have a guy who's bigger than the UFC for the first time ever. It's awesome. So to his point, it's UFC's job to tell their stories. We can see that they probably need to hire someone, or they need to fire someone, or they need to figure it out where to put their attention, because Amanda Nunes' story did not get told. So you missed that boat. You can do a story now. Cody Garbrandt, Cruz, that really is what sold me on this card. But yeah, they're struggling right now. But if there's stars out there, they just haven't told their story. It's like there's a million good books out there. You just got to pick it up and look into it and then spread the word. It's no different with the UFC. They have stars that are there. They just have to shed some light on them with their huge platform. But they're not doing it. They decide to invest in Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, and some other guys, and it didn't work out. Let's do two more.
Cool.
I'm sick of hearing myself talk.
Cruz the Saint, instead of going straight to a championship fight after a year layoff, do you think Ronda should have done a warm-up fight instead, like John Jones did?
Well, John Jones didn't, if you remember. John Jones, DC got hurt and pulled out. Remember? And then they replaced OSP. Yeah, remember? So that's why he fought OSP. And also, OSP is ranked number 6 in the world, so I don't know if that's a warm-up fight. Compared to DC, I guess you could call that a warm-up fight. Ronda's in a different boat. I think if the smart plan obviously would be to do a warm-up fight and get her on the winning track, because then she still has her movies and sponsorships and we can sell this next fight. But that's not what she's about. She's regarded as the best female fighter of all time, and there's no warm-ups. That's why you can't afford to take 411 days off. The UFC can't market you to some random girl. Why are you not fighting for the title? That's not our game. This isn't boxing. There's no warm-ups. This isn't these other leagues. There are no warm-ups at this level, especially when you come from that kind of background. There's zero warm-ups for you. We have no warm-ups. You don't get that luxury. That's why you can't take 411 days off and expect to be able to go in there and compete. Look at John Jones looked rusty as fuck against OSP. Yeah. He looked terrible. Now imagine if he does that same thing against Anthony Johnson. Although Anthony Johnson's coming off a long layoff too, but similar fight. All right, what else you got?
All right, so the last one, when Stupak 51, when Joey Diaz said that he was heartbroken watching Ronda get KO'd on Rogan's podcast, do you think that's because she's a female and deep down no one or none of us want to see that happen to a woman? I don't think he'd feel the same way if it was a dude.
Yeah, no, I can't agree more with this gentleman. And it's not a sexist thing. Maybe it's the way I was raised, but I'm sure there's other guys who feel the same way. And it's like, oh, come on, they signed up for that. They want to do this. I get that, man. I was raised where ladies are ladies. You treat them, you open car doors, you open their door. You know what I'm saying? You pay the bill, you do everything, man. Like, you're the guy. They're not getting punched in the face. They're not wrestling. They don't have cauliflower. So I'm not used to that. It's for me, when I see a guy fight, I grew up watching boxing. I grew up watching football. I grew up watching these savages face each other and compete. And it's competition that may the best man win. I'm used to that. It's new for me to watch two females punch each other in the face. I don't get the same reaction. It's not that I'm a sexist. It's not that I don't get it. It's not that I don't support it. It's not that I won't watch it. It's not that I don't find it entertaining. I don't find it as entertaining, but it's not that I don't support it. I support it, but when you watch Ronda take out our history, take out our old history, it doesn't, any girl, Paige Van Zandt, when I watch that, tough for me to watch. When I watched that Juliana Pena, when she fought the murderer, when she fought fucking Joanna, she's just getting pieced up and Joanna give her a nose job. I don't have any history with her.
Oh, not Jessica Pena.
Jessica Pena, yes, thank you. When I watched that, I was like, oh my God, it's just not normal for me. So when I see Ronda get murked like that against Amanda Nunes, who's very serious and has some more manly traits, my body goes, oh my God. It's like watching the Ray Rice video. Like, I'm just not used to it. My bad. It's like when fucking Bruce Jenner was like, yo, I'm a chick now. God damn. Okay, I support you, but give me a second. Give me a second. God, dog. I saw you in a Wheaties box, for God's sakes, with your nuts hanging out the front. Now you're gonna dress. All right. I'm not hating on you. Just give me some time, man. So for me, give me a few years. It's just I wasn't raised where women were like that. It's entertaining. I support it, and they have so much work to do. And there's going to be another Ronda Rousey. There's going to be another Amanda Nunes, and it takes a special type of female to want to sign up to get punched in the face. But they're out there, and there's obviously a demand for it. I don't know if we'll see the same superstardom that Ronda Rousey created as far as crossing over, because she was the pioneer. There's only one Bruce Lee. There's only one Chuck Liddell. There's only one Mike Tyson, and they come once in a lifetime because they pave these waves. So, I said that last night with my boys. I said, why is it we feel bad for her? Isn't it weird? Because she made probably $13 million.
Exactly.
It's 44 seconds. I watched fucking Mike Pyle get knocked into next week, and he made $13,000 or some shit winning Reebok. And I'm like, whatever. That's part of the game. With Amanda Nunes around, I'm like, holy fuck, I can't watch this.
I don't know why it is.
And don't get twisted. I see you guys out there. Whenever Ronda loses or there's a blunder, people, I bet Brendan Schaub's mad. Then you guys don't listen to the show enough. You do not know. I have no ill will towards her. I root for her. Yeah. I do, man. There's just because two people didn't work out dating, she's not my cup of tea, man. We're both good people. It just didn't work out. I still wish her the best. I want to see her win. I don't know Amanda Nunes. I know nothing about her. I root for her too, but I wish there's no ill will on my side, man. It's my job as an analyst to break the fight down and to give you insight to some of the things I know that maybe other people don't, and that's it. And like I said, thank God UFC 207 is over, because I'm sick of it myself. And I did want to see her retire, so I don't have to keep talking about it, but I want to see her win and retire. I just as a fellow athlete, you don't want to see someone who with that type of greatness and who has talked about suicide lose in that fashion. So I wish her the best. Be nice to each other, man. That's for any athlete listen. That's for any hater out there. It's 2017. Don't be the same tool you were last year if you're hating on people. Remember, when you lose a fight like this, whether you're Mike Pyle, whether you're anyone who's been knocked out, now, I'm not just talking about Ronda, that there are people too, and when they go back home, just like you, they get on social media, man. Why spew hate? Yeah. You paid to watch them fight. They entertained you. She put her life on the line. You're crazy if you don't think she suffered brain damage in that last fight for your entertainment. You're crazy if you don't think before that in Australia she got kicked in the face if she didn't suffer some sort of damaging mental health there. Yeah. And she has a history of mental health. So be nice to each other, man. That's my message to you guys. 2017. Just be a good fucking person. Don't be a tool, especially if you have kids. We don't need more tools in this world. And I promise you, when your kid grows up, you say, hey, son, check this out. This person who's done way more than me in life, I found them and I sent them a hurtful message. Your son's going to go, what the fuck? God damn it. I'm born to a loser. That's right, son. And it's 2030. God damn it. Don't be that guy if you're listening to this. Is that all we got?
That's it.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to Big Brown Brizik Down. Like I said, I'll have the Big Brown graphic up soon. Chin is working on the intro song. We appreciate you guys. Again, I had no idea these were going to get this many downloads or reviews, so we're going to keep on keeping on doing them. And tell your friend to tell a friend. I got some cool guests coming on this month. I have Robin Black. Cody Garbrandt has agreed to come on, and I got some other tricks up my sleeve as well. And then I'm also working on a live Big Brown Breakdown live comedy fight show as well. That's in the works. 2017 is going to be a great year. I'm excited for Brian Callen to come back tomorrow so we can get back to finding kids shenanigans. Things can be going better on our end, man. It's we're so blessed, and things are great, man. I love you guys. Thanks for listening. I'm sure you guys disagreed with some things. I'm sure you guys agreed with some things. I'm open to any criticism as long as you're cool about it. Anything you want to hear me talk about, any ideas you have that you think would make the show better, I'm always open to. DM me. Ask any of your friends who have DM'd me before. I usually get back to you. Might not be right away, but I get hundreds, if not thousands of them, and I try to get back to everyone who actually put some thought into it. So we love you guys. This is the Big Brown Breakdown for UFC 207. Thank God this fucking card is over and I don't have to keep spewing out knowledge of this fight card. Till next time, we might do another one this week. I'm not sure. We have our own studio, so we do whatever the fuck we want.
Whenever.
But either way, these big breakdowns will keep on keeping on. T-Fat-K, The Fighting the Kid, is live in Vancouver on the 18th and 19th. That 19th show is sold out. Then we're in Portland the following on the 20th. January 20th, we're in Portland. And then we're in Seattle on the 20th. We're in Portland on the 21st. Vancouver the 19th, sold out. Vancouver on the 18th, tickets still available. Seattle on the 20th. Portland the 21st. Is that right?
I'm checking right now.
So
there we go.
Okay, Vancouver on the 18th, tickets still available. Vancouver on the 19th is sold out. There's very few tickets left on the 18th. Seattle is January 20th, and Portland is the 21st. All three of those shows, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland. So 19, 20, 21st, and the 18th of January for Vancouver. There's tickets available. All those are almost sold out. Vancouver on the 19th is completely sold out. So get tickets right now, tfatk.com. This is the Big Brown Breakdown. We love you.